Tonight's episode of APN's Alexandra Levine live podcast is a repeat of episode 189. So please like, subscribe, and then share this episode on your social media accounts. Alexandra is celebrating the upcoming holiday with her family tonight. She will be back on December 4th.
Well, hello, everyone. Hello, this is Alexandra Levine live with the America's Pulse Network. You are all in tonight with me, Alexandra Levine. We have a major show tonight with major breaking news. The House of Representatives passed 427 to 1. Let's put up that slide. The next slide, not that one. There we go. We need to make that a little bit bigger, which I know we can do because I've seen it done. There we go. So I can read it. Break. The House passes legislation forcing release of the Epstein files, a measure endorsed by President Trump 427 to 1. Now it goes to the Senate, where lawmakers are expected to amend the bill and send it back to the House. Trump has said he will sign it. The only one that said no was Clay Higgins, Republican. And I can tell you breaking news that the Senate approved this bill. It was a unanimous approved vote. Now it goes to President Trump. Well, he will sign what they call the Epstein Files Transparency Act. President Trump, as you know, we'll talk about this in segment 1. He said, release the Epstein files. Let's just get it done. Get it out of my life because there's nothing about me in it. This obsession with the Epstein files is going to come to an end very, very soon. I know a lot of Republicans and Democrats were pushing to release the Epstein files. The Democrats, of course, want to release them for a negative connotation because they think that President Trump was compromised in the Epstein files. Some of the Republicans, especially the alt-right hardcore conservative part of the Republican Party in the House of Representatives, they want it released because they want to release the names. They want Epstein's victims' names released. But the contradiction is that Thomas Massie and Marjorie Taylor Greene, they said that they were going to name all 80 victims plus, and they never did. Now, the DOJ, out of respect to the victims, they were doing everything they could to redact their names because a lot of these victims didn't want their names put out there. And a lot of the victims to this day don't want their names put out there because it's very traumatizing to them what happened to them. But we'll see what happens once President Trump signs the bill, which will be this week. In other breaking news, we'll put up the second slide. I know you can't really see it. There we go. Why is Hakeem Jeffrey soliciting money and dinner from Jeffrey Epstein after he was a convicted sex offender? So that email clearly states Hakeem Jeffrey soliciting money and having dinner with Jeffrey Epstein after he was a convicted sex offender. That's why this whole thing is so asinine. Everything that the Democrats claim that President Trump has done, they do it themselves. Hakeem Jeffries is the worst Democrat in the House of Representatives. I hope to God he will never be Speaker of the House or anything higher than that. He is a hypocrite. He's a liar. And why is he soliciting money from someone who was convicted a sex offender? Why are Democrats in bed with sex offenders? Harvey Weinstein was a big guy in the Hollywood industry who did a lot of stuff with underage girls, who basically threatened people's adult lives and their childhood lives. Childhood actors, adult actors. If you didn't get naked in front of me, if you didn't do this, if you didn't do that, guess what? You don't have a career in Hollywood. I mean, that's what these people did. That's what these people did. As you know, Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein, they were pedophiles. Or Ghislaine Maxwell is a pedophile. Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile. We all know this. We all know that Jeffrey Epstein brought young kids to Mar-a-Lago and other places, claiming that these were his nieces and nephews. He invited all of these big names, which we're going to find out. Some of the big names are Bill Clinton and many others. I think there's Republicans that are going to be in that name too. That's why a lot of people have hid these Epstein files. They're afraid that their reputations will be tarnished. But there's a lot of big profile names, I believe, that are in the Epstein files that had something to do with going on that airliner, going to the island, Epstein's island, and doing nefarious things. And we're going to find that out once this is released. But this is really big, guys. This was the thing that happened all day, was that the House of Representatives voted 427-1 to release the Epstein files, and that the Senate voted unanimously to approve the releasing of the files. And President Trump is getting ready to sign the act so that we can put this thing to rest once and for all. Once and for all. Other breaking news, Larry Summers, who was the head of Harvard University, and he worked under many Democratic administrations. He decided to get out of the public eye today because of his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. He had a long-term relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, but he wants to get out of the public eye. Is his name compromised in the Epstein files? Will President Trump claim that his name was in there, that he was involved? Like I said, a lot of big names. It's going to come out. A lot of big names were involved in Jeffrey Epstein, going on the Lolita Express, being on that island. A lot of actors were associated with Jeffrey Epstein, going on the Lolita Express, going on the island. And for these adults not to say anything, just allowing this to occur, watching this and not saying anything because they were afraid of their careers or afraid from their lives, is asinine to me. If you see something, say something. How can you as an actor just sit there and watch Jeffrey Epstein and others do stuff to underage kids? It's disgusting. And sex trafficking, human trafficking, child trafficking is real. It's a huge business. It's $1 trillion business. I mean, there's a lot of money in it. That's why President Trump's doing everything he can to stop the drug cartels and to stop the drug trafficking and the sex trafficking entering our country. In other breaking news, Congresswoman of Delaware, Stacey Plaschett, there will be a vote for her this week to censure her, because it turns out that she had a texting relationship with Jeffrey Epstein for many, many, many years, that she was involved with him and knew a lot about him. And it's disgusting to see Democrat congressmen and women on the congressional floor today defending this woman, defending this congresswoman. Jamie Raskin from Maryland, from Bethesda, CD8, was defending this woman, Stacey Plaschett, all day long. Stacey Plaschett was trying to compare herself to Donald Trump. Stacey Plaschett thinks she did nothing wrong. She says, he was my constituent. She says, there's nothing wrong with taking phone calls and emails from your constituent. Really? She says, President Trump does that all the time. He's got multiple people that are pedophiles, that are sex offenders, and God knows what they're his constituents. Was he not going to take their call? You can't compare the two, and she doesn't know that. And she's guilty. She's vehemently guilty. But again, censoring someone and silencing them is not enough. You have to remove them from office. You have to remove them from not just their House committees, but remove them from office. You can censor someone till you're blue in the face, but they're still an elected official. It's time to get rid of these idiots that defend pedophiles. It's time to get rid of these idiots that commit crimes. It's time to get rid of these idiots that don't have America's best interests at heart, that say Somalia first, and so forth. What's the problem here? You know, Marjorie Taylor Greene screams out America first, America only. Why isn't she doing everything she can to get the squad out of office, to get Ilhan Omar out, and Rashid Tlaib, and AOC, and all these people that push for Somalia first, and all these different countries first? She's the one that says we spend too much time and too much money in foreign wars and dealing with foreign countries. Well, why don't you, instead of taking your energy out, attacking Donald Trump, attacking other Republicans, why don't you take your energy out on the squad and stop being a hypocrite? I'm so tired of these people being hypocrites. That's why President Trump had to call Marjorie Taylor Greene out this week, and we'll talk about that later in the program. Now let's move to segment one. Segment one, release the Epstein files. So I'm following up on what happened today. Again, I will repeat, the House passed 427-1 to release the Epstein files. The Senate approved unanimously. President Trump will be signing that bill, and we will let you know. It's probably going to be sometime this week. Could be Thursday, could be Friday, could be tomorrow. But he's ready to sign. It's called the Epstein files Transparency Act. Let's put up the first slide. So President Trump has reversed his stance on releasing the files, this was a couple days ago, related to the Jeffrey Epstein case, now urging House Republicans to take back efforts to make the documents public, which they're going to do. Again, President Trump calls on House Republicans to release Epstein files, breaking from earlier opposition. Let's put up the second slide. So this one is hilarious. This has been shown all over X and Facebook. It shows Bill Clinton wearing a dress because, as you know, he famously did some stuff on a navy blue dress, Monica Lewinsky's navy blue dress, put a cigar up her you-know-what, and did other things in the Oval Office and allowed her to do other things like give fellatio to him while he was on the call with Yasser Arafat in the Oval Office. So the Clintons invited Jeffrey Epstein to the White House 17 times. But Democrats think the guy that kicked Epstein out of his country club is the pedophile. See, this is what people need to understand. Everyone says, oh, President Trump was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. He knew about him. BS. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. I mean, President Trump, he was involved in Hollywood. He was involved with a lot of producers because he was on Apprentice, Celebrity Apprentice. He was a Democrat. He was friends with a lot of these actors and actresses and a lot of these big movie producers. But he didn't know the depths and the inner workings of Jeffrey Epstein. He didn't know this guy was a pedophile. This guy would bring over young kids to Mar-a-Lago. And when he found out that they were not his nieces and nephews, he threw him out permanently. He not only banned him from Mar-a-Lago, he banned him from all Trump properties. But Bill Clinton, who has a standing phone log, a standing relationship with Jeffrey Epstein for many years, invited him to the White House 17 times, was friends with Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell was at Chelsea Clinton's wedding. There's a picture of Ghislaine Maxwell at Chelsea Clinton's wedding. And there's a lot of corruption between Ghislaine Maxwell, the Epsteins, and Chelsea Clinton's husband's father. They have a lot of illegal business dealings going on in that family. The Clintons are the ones that went to Epstein's Island, that went on the Lolita Express. And like I said, I've said on this show, there's a guy named Doug Bann. Doug Bann was the number 2 guy to Bill Clinton. He's from Sarasota, Florida. His father is David Bann. They're attorneys, or he was an attorney in Sarasota. The Banns always protect their asses. David Bann has been accused of racketeering and many other things, but for some reason he always gets himself out of trouble. But Doug Bann, he came out a few years ago exposing the Clintons, exposing Chelsea, spoke to a reporter about it, and he's now in hiding. He had to leave Teneo. He was the president CEO of Teneo. He stepped down as the president CEO. He was living up in New York in a high-rise apartment with his wife and kids. He's not living with them anymore. He has gone underground in a deserted place. We don't know where it is unless he gets subpoenaed. And they need to subpoena him. They need to subpoena Doug Bann so that we can find out the truth about Bill Clinton and his dealings on Epstein Island, because Doug Bann was the one that told Bill Clinton not to go to the island. And he told Bill Clinton's Secret Service not to go either. But of course, wherever the president goes, Secret Service has to go with him. So Secret Service knows. So you got to subpoena the Secret Service. You got to subpoena Doug Bann. Enough is enough. I know Doug Bann is in fear of his life because he exposed his old boss, who he loved and cared for. But he saw what Bill Clinton was doing, and he didn't like it. And he and Doug Bann and Chelsea Clinton did not get along at all. There's a big relationship there. Big tumult between the two. It was written in this article by this reporter. And Doug Bann had issues with Chelsea Clinton's husband and her family, or excuse me, his family, Chelsea Clinton's in-laws. So again, it's asinine to me. It's asinine to me that Bill Clinton, we all know that he was on Epstein's Island, is not in jail. And maybe with the release of the files, maybe these victims will have some vindication. Maybe Bill Clinton will go to jail after this. Who knows? But President Trump did not want this lingering over his presidency. And a lot of people didn't like the way that he handled the reporter when they asked Pam Bondi about, what did you say on Fox News? You said you had the files on your desk. Pam Bondi had something on her desk, but it wasn't the full file, wasn't the full enchilada. The DOJ, the former DOJ, the former FBI, they protected these files from all of us. They redacted a lot of the victims' names. And there was a lot of information that was erased, shredded. And Jeffrey Epstein has proven that he did work for the Mossad and the CIA. So did Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell's father also worked for the Mossad, which is the Israeli CIA and FBI. And if you give up the Mossad, if you give up what the Mossad tells you, it's not a good thing. If you give up Israeli intelligence, Israeli secrets, it's not a good thing either. And so Ghislaine has been pretty much hush-hush throughout this whole thing. But I know she's saying everything she can to get her sentence reduced and to get out of there. But she even said to Todd Blanche, who works under Pam Bondi, there's no blacklist. There's no list. Never heard of this list. And she contradicted a lot of things that people thought. But somebody said today, we can't release the files unless there's massive redactions. So a lot of people are like, oh, well, there's going to be a lot of redactions. That means we're not going to get the full story. That means it's going to be another cover-up. But President Trump wanted to release these files his way and the way he knows how. Not by Congress telling him what to do or the Senate telling him what to do, Marjorie Taylor Greene telling him what to do. No. President Trump is the president of the United States, and he will release whatever he wants to at his own time. He said we have to get back to the country, to helping the country. This is a huge distraction. And the Democrats are obsessed with trying to expose me for something I didn't do. I wholeheartedly believe that President Trump is not a pedophile and he was not involved in any of this. And evidence will show, the files will show when they're released that his name is not even involved, that he's not compromised in all of this. Why do you think Prince Andrew had to withdrew all of his titles, his royalties, because he was involved with Jeffrey Epstein, went to the island. Everybody knows it. He was exposed. That's why they stripped him of all his titles. He can never be king, never be prince anymore. He screwed himself. But we all have to look into the truth here, guys. I know a lot of people had a bad taste in their mouth. And now there's a lot of anti-Semitism because Jeffrey Epstein's Jewish, he worked for the Mossad. Harvey Weinstein's Jewish. A lot of Jews in Hollywood. They say the Jews control Hollywood. That's Nick Fuentes' BS. That's his spin. So all these alt-right people are taking advantage of the fact that Jeffrey Epstein was Jewish, Harvey Weinstein's Jewish, Ghislaine Maxwell's Jewish, and that, look at these Jews, look what they did. Pedophiles, corrupt bastards. The stereotypes just keep going on and on and on. And I told you, there's some bad apples. There's bad apples in every religion. Every religion. No religion is perfect. But to single out someone as being a Jew, well, those Jews, that's where the problem arises. You can't single someone out for their religion. You single the person out by their name, Jeffrey Epstein. He just so happens to be Jewish, but he doesn't represent all Jews around the country. He doesn't represent me. I don't follow his crap. I'm not doing what he's doing, what he did. But Ghislaine Maxwell did confirm that Epstein did not kill himself. I don't believe he killed himself either. It's really against Judaism to kill yourself. Not saying he was a religious Jew, but it's very rare for Jewish people to kill themselves. It's not in our makeup. So everyone needs to come to the conclusion that Jeffrey Epstein as the man was a bad hombre. And just because President Trump took a picture with him or he was at Mar-a-Lago a few times doesn't mean that he engaged in that similar activity. As we said before, the minute that President Trump found out what he was about and what he was doing, he banned him from Mar-a-Lago for life. Let's put up the next slide. And this idiot, going back to the the Epstein files, as I was saying earlier, Delaware Congresswoman Stacey Plackett, Jamie Raskin, the damn Democrat mofo congressman from Maryland, he said prison staffers fired after stealing Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney, client emails, and funneling them to Representative Raskin, who then leaked the stolen material to media under a fake whistleblower label. Again, prison staffers fired after they stole Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney. They stole the attorney-client emails and funneled them to Jamie Raskin. Why would they funnel them to him? Oh, Jamie Raskin's an attorney. This sounds like blackmail and corruption at the highest level. Jamie Raskin should be going to jail for this. Why is he involved here? Why did he get client emails? Why were they funneled to him? Would he threaten them? Would he compromise them? Was he got something on him? And then they funneled them to him, and then he leaked the stolen material to the media under a fake whistleblower label. Because he can't say, hi, I'm Jamie Raskin, I have the evidence. He had to go under a fake whistleblower label. This is so disgusting. Again, disgusting on so many levels. I feel sick about this. And this freaking congressman's getting away with it. He's a Democrat. Hashtag not my Jew. Hashtag never a true Jew. Hashtag idiot. And I'm so tired of him. I'm really sick and tired of him. Leaking stolen material to the media. Why would anybody trust Jamie Raskin with anything? He's disgusting. He's a twerp. And he has the audacity to go on the congressional floor and defend this Stacey Platchek girl who texted Epstein back and forth, left and right. He defended her today. So sick. He defended her knowing and willingly that he had Ghislaine Maxwell attorney's client emails and they were funneled to him and then leaked them. Why isn't this big news? Why isn't he arrested? There's a lot of people out there that need to be arrested for doing corrupt things, like Eric Swalwell and Adam Schiff. But what Adam Swalwell and Eric Schiff did was just minor things compared to the big picture. But Jamie Raskin did big things. And he's still a congressman to this day. These are the people that you fire. These are the people that you put in jail. You don't just censure them and silence them. You get rid of them. But you bring them to justice. Why are these idiot congressmen getting away with all this? And then you have left-leaning lunatic Democrats like Cory Booker and so forth that feel like they're the next bench generation of Democrats. But the days of Steny Hoyer and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi are gone because they're dinosaurs, but they represent a modern / centrist Democrat era. People like Cory Booker, people like the Squad, they represent this hardcore left-leaning Democrat Party, which is really in the minority, not the majority. Somebody's watching on CNN, oh, this Democrat would be great to lead. This Democrat would be great to lead. And he picked like the worst people. The future of the Democrat Party is very bleak. The future of the modern Democrats is very bleak. Now they're all becoming Republicans because they feel that their party doesn't represent them anymore. And I agree with them wholeheartedly. Get out of the party. And Jamie Raskin called for Majorie Taylor Greene to join the Democrat Party. He said, we'll welcome her with open arms. Isn't that so ironic? The woman doesn't get what she wants. She's kissing Democrats' butt. And Jamie Raskin saying she should be a Democrat. Come on over. We'll talk about that in the next segment. I mean, it's so disgusting. It's so disgusting what's going on. That's why I say, if you're a Democrat right now, you shouldn't be. You should leave your party or just vote in the primary, not for the incumbent, for the new guy, and then vote Republican in the general. Because the more you keep voting Democrat, the more you're going to support these squad, socialist, left-wing leaning lunatics. Let's put up the final slide. So the final slide completely vindicates, let's make this bigger. There we go. Completely vindicates President Trump. David Schoen, who I've talked to, by the way, who I know personally, my family knows personally. He said if Jeffrey Epstein had any dirt on Donald Trump, he would have had great leverage in the criminal case against him at the time he died. The fact that he unequivocally said he had none ought to shut down unequivocally said he had none, there we go, ought to shut down the false claims otherwise, but facts are no obstacle to political attacks. So again, he said if Jeffrey Epstein had any dirt on Donald Trump, he would have had great leverage in the criminal case against him. The fact that he unequivocally said he had none ought to shut down the false claims otherwise. So David Schoen is saying, and he was Jeffrey Epstein's attorney, he said, and he was also President Trump's attorney too. He said there's nothing there. There's no there. Just like Trump said about the Russian hoax and so forth, there's no there. If Donald Trump's name was associated with Jeffrey Epstein would have used it against him. He would have said, I know Donald Trump. Yeah, we did a bunch of stuff together. Yep, it's written right here. And he'd be in the Epstein files. But Donald Trump's not. So the fact that Donald Trump unequivocally said, the fact that Jeffrey Epstein unequivocally said he had none, and Ghislaine Maxwell said the same thing. She's like, I know Donald Trump, nice guy, great guy. Nope, he never committed any of these pedophilia acts. Nope, never hung out with us. I went to the island. Nope, great guy though, nice guy. Very, very gentlemanlike, Ghislaine said. Ghislaine said, I never saw him interacting inappropriately with young women. That's not his style. He's a classy guy. It's not his style. The thought of it freaking makes him sick. So there's the evidence right there. But Doug Schoen said the facts are no obstacle to political attacks. That means even though it's factual that Donald Trump had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, the island, the political attacks are going to come anyway. The Democrats are going to find some way to blame Donald Trump for something. They're going to find some way to lie and say Donald Trump was there and compromised and all this crap. I knew for years that Donald Trump wasn't involved in this. I knew for years that they were all BSing. And I ask and I beg my friends who are listening to these stupid conspiracy theorists to take a step back and just evaluate it on your own. Stop listening to Q and QAnon and all these conspiracy theorists. All they're doing is feeding your head with BS and lies and making you go crazy. And the Republicans are at each other's throats now. It's like, if we support this type of person, we're bad. If we support that type of person. I've heard from people that I thought were diehard Donald Trump fans, and they turned on him in like two days ago. They think he's lying. They think he's, working with bad hombres again. They're like expecting all this stuff, and they don't understand that the president has only been in there less than a year, and they don't understand the accomplishments that he's done. They don't understand what his strategy is to accomplish everything. They're not looking at the big picture. That's what President Trump said to Marjorie Greene. You'll never run a country because you don't support your allies, and I can't just solely work on America. I'm the president of the free world. I have to be cognizant of all the countries that surround us and our allies and our non-allies. He's saying if I just stick to domestic issues, I'm not going to get everything done. I won't get the big picture done. And I agree with him on that. You're the president of the United States, you work state, local, and you work federally as well, and internationally. Everybody knows this. This is no surprise. But people just want to sit around, bitch, and complain. And they don't understand that if President Trump doesn't handle the situation in Israel and the situation in Ukraine and Russia and the situation in Taiwan and Cambodia and the Congo and all these other places in China, America will be no more. We had a moron in the White House for 4 years, if he was even really in there, who caused a lot of these problems, and President Trump has to clean it up. Nobody sees what President Trump sees. His department heads, they're not going to tell you what they're looking at. They're looking at years of BS and corruption that they have to try to wipe away. So just take a step back, chill the F out, and let President Trump do his job and do the will of the people. And stop attacking him and stop turning on him, because it doesn't help. Just gives the Democrats more fuel. Well, coming back after the break, we have a great second segment. But just before we get there, don't forget our affiliate sponsor, rncstore.com, rncstore.com/ALL. Let's put that up. There we go. The Richardson Nutritional Center. Use ALL to get a 10% discount. If you don't use ALL, you don't get the discount. And now we're going into the holiday season. Everybody's going to be eating turkey and stuffing and ham and whatnot. We're all going to get fat from it. It's just common knowledge. So what do? You take some supplements. You go to rncstore.com/ALL and you take supplements to prevent anything bad from happening and also to help you lose weight. If you have cancer, all of these supplements prevent against stage 4 cancer. They actually deplete the cancer. And John Richardson has written about this and has proven it many times. He will actually be a guest on our show on Thursday night. So don't forget to tune in on Thursday night to hear what he has to say. But please, guys, go to rncstore.com/ALL, type in the discount code ALL, you get 10% off, and we will be right back after the break. Hi, I'm Alexandra Levine. I'm a professional opera singer, actress, TV, and radio personality. Since 2015, I've been a volunteer, a field director, and a campaign manager, learning the ins and outs of the political world. That's why I became a political consultant. My job is to lead you to victory with organization, structure, and the mindset of winning for your district or state. With my guidance and direction, I can keep you focused on the things that matter to the people and advise you on key issues that need to be addressed. If you're a serious candidate that is serious about winning, then book a consultation with me today. Go to levineconsulting.co. You'll be happy you did. Well, hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome back to Alexandra Levine Live with the America's Pulse Network. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We are on YouTube. We're on Rumble. We're on TikTok. We're on True Social. We're on Instagram and Parler. And just go to @America's Pulse Network and click like and subscribe. I just want to say thank you to my viewers tonight for Radio Telefono, number 2, and everyone else who's watching out there. I know you guys are watching, not commenting. We appreciate your comments, though. So please, guys, I agree with Radio Telefono, too. Hopefully we'll find soon the authentic criminals involved with Jeffrey Epstein. I wholeheartedly agree with that. And again, guys, just keep the messages coming, keep the chat going. So moving into segment 2, this is really important. So this has to do with the demise and the destruction of Congresswoman from Georgia, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, I'll give you a little bit of background. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, yes, she was an avid Trump supporter. She said for 60 years, she was loyal to him. She was like the first woman in charge that believed in the America First movement and the MAGA movement. And people said she was a spitfire. I mean, she said some things that were kind of off the wall. She said a lot of things that Q and QAnon were spewing out. Some people thought she meant it. Some people thought she was just putting out there to get a reaction. But President Trump was very supportive of her. I mean, she would go on the campaign trail with him. She would campaign with him. She'd speak at rallies for him. But the girl's gone a little bit off the deep end in the last few weeks. And actually, I believe that it started when Speaker Kevin McCarthy became the Speaker of the House. There is a picture of her taking a selfie with him, all happy that he's the Speaker of the House, because under Nancy Pelosi, she was banned from being on her House committees. She wasn't on any committees. So when Speaker McCarthy came into the scene, she was reinstated and she got to be on her committees. A lot of people think that there was a lot of backdoor deals done to get her back on her committees. A lot of people accused her of having an affair. The woman is a known adulterer. She cheated on her wife. She cheated on her husband. Oh my God. I don't know why I did that. She cheated on her husband while she was in office, and they got divorced while she was in office. She's got multiple, I think she's got like 3 children with him. She's a very smart businessman on her own. She's a very wealthy woman on her own, but the woman has increased her salary within a year. I mean, she's like worth $1 million plus. And they're like, where did all this money come from? Because when you become a congresswoman or congressman, you only make like $100,000 plus a year. You don't make that much. Now the woman's worth $1 million. And she disses AIPAC all the time. AIPAC is a Jewish not conservative. It's a Jewish PAC, which mostly helps moderate Democrats. It does help more liberals than Republican Jews. I have begged AIPAC to fund and help facilitate Republican Jews like my friend Randy Fine and so forth. But they tend to work in districts that they feel they can win. And they primared out a couple people from the squad. I've begged them to primary out more people from the squad. I'm begging them to primary out Senator Chris Van Hollen from Maryland, but we'll see what happens. But, you know, she has attacked AIPAC, attacked the, quote, Israeli lobby that's in D.C., and it's not good. It's not good to constantly attack Israel, to constantly attack people that are Jewish. people that are part of this Israel lobby. And now her friend Matt Gaetz is on the train with her, and Tucker Carlson, and a lot of other people. And she's pushing towards that alt-right movement of the Republican side. But a lot of people were saying that she's actually leaning more Democrat because she's like kowtowing to the Democrats. And the other day she was on CNN. Now she's on all these left-wing news network stations that never had her on before. And they put her on there. And she says, I'm so sorry for all the rhetoric, and I'm so sorry that I was rude. We need to all come together. We need to all be nice. And she even praised Nancy Pelosi on The View. By her going on The View, it really screwed her relationship with Donald Trump. Donald Trump and her had a great relationship. And what happened was she wanted to run for Senate in Georgia. And she came to President Trump and said, look, I want to run for the U.S. Senate in Georgia. Will you help me? Will you support me? Will you endorse me? Well, he took a look at the numbers. And he said, before you even get in the gate, you're like 22 points behind the rest of the primary people. He's like, you're 22 points behind the primary. He said, it doesn't matter if I endorse you or not. You will not win. My endorsement will not matter. You will not win. So she was upset that she didn't get the full endorsement and support from President Trump. So as a result, she has pushed further and further away. So you can say that she was kind of all about power and herself rather than America first, and just like forgetting the loyalty that she had for President Trump. And President Trump's all about loyalty, and she lost his loyalty by going on The View, by hanging out with left-wing people, by talking like a Democrat, by actually saying she supports the H-1B visa program, and then turns around and does a 180 and says, I don't support it. So she's been flip-flopping on a lot of her issues lately, and, pushing the Epstein files. That was a big thing that she did. But, saying I'm America first, I'm America only. And President Trump's like, thank God I don't have this woman leading our country, because you have to support your allies. You have to work with your allies. You have to support Israel, and you have to get your foreign policy under control. And she doesn't believe in that. She thinks we spend too much money on foreign wars. And she doesn't, and she actually lied and blamed President Trump and said that he put us into wars with Iran and so forth, which is a lie. President Trump is a peacemaker. He wants to end these wars. He's actually done everything he could to end the wars. And furthermore, we don't have boots on the ground in Israel. We don't have boots on the ground in Gaza. We don't have American boots on the ground in Ukraine and Russia. We don't have that. So I don't know where she comes off saying that President Trump is wasting our money and putting us into wars. He's not Joe Biden. Not at all. So President Trump, he redacted his endorsement for her, says he's going to primary her, find a primary challenger. And he's hashtag had enough of her baloney. Let's put up the first slide. Yeah. So Scott Jennings, who works for CNN, he was commenting on what President Trump said. President Trump tweeted, this is a couple days ago, Marjorie Trader Greene is a disgrace to our great Republican Party. And Scott Jennings said he didn't tell her not to run. What she didn't say was that he sent her a poll privately, discreetly, and it had information in it. And it showed her down 20 points to Senator John Ossoff. That's what I was talking about. In politics, when you want to send a message to someone that you like or that has been an ally, you don't embarrass them publicly. You privately send them information and show them what the reality is. So I told you a private conversation that Marjorie Taylor Greene had with President Trump. What did that moron do? What did Marjorie Taylor Greene do? She exposed it to the country, to the world, and says, well, President Trump didn't endorse me for Senate. Terrible. He didn't think I was going to win, blah, 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 blah. So this is like a vendetta that she's doing against President Trump. But after President Trump wrote that she's a traitor, Marjorie Taylor Greene today said, I endorsed and supported this man for 6 years, and he calls me a traitor. She says a traitor is someone that supports America first and doesn't support our foreign allies and get us into foreign wars and puts our money into foreign lands. But again, that's not what President Trump is doing. And of course, she's probably upset that he had a meeting today with the Saudi king. I forgot to mention that in breaking news, actually. That was important. So the Saudi king, he came to the White House, the Saudi prince came to the White House today. It was a very important meeting. I met with President Trump to boost investments to $1 trillion. And in return, he's going to be purchasing F-22s and F-35s. Because the objective is to have Saudi Arabia sign the Abraham Accords to expand more peace into the Middle East. Now, the Saudi prince, he says he'll sign the Abraham Accords, but he wants a pathway to a two-state solution. Now, Israel and the United States are not going to give these. There's no two-state solution. Israel's not going to create a two-state solution. Neither is America. You can't create a two-state solution when Gaza has been completely demolished and Hamas is being demolished and tear down every single day. Because if you create a two-state solution, you're going to get another October 7th. So President Trump, his response was, I want peace for Israelis, I want peace for Palestinians. But it's up to the Palestinians what they're going to do. If they want to make peace with Israel, that's great. If they don't, they're out of here. They go to other countries. They go to Indonesia. They're scattered in other places. Because we don't want bad hombres, again, in Israel causing havoc, or in Gaza causing havoc. And we don't want it. So is that what Marjorie Taylor Greene is talking about? That the president should not be working to bring peace to the Middle East? Because that's what she's bitching about. It was a very important meeting today with the Saudi prince. And President Trump has a lot of great relations with foreign leaders. They love him overseas. So it's really sick and sad. It's really sick and sad that Marjorie Taylor Greene is acting this way. Let's go to the next slide. So again, President Trump tweeted or retruth wacky Marjorie, quote, Trader Brown. Remember, Greene turns to Brown when there was rot involved, is working overtime to try and portray herself as a victim, when in actuality, she's the cause of all of her own problems. The fact is, nobody cares about this traitor to our country. And Marjorie Taylor Greene took high offense to President Trump calling her a traitor. But she has been a traitor because, again, she screams out, I support Donald Trump, love Donald Trump, he's my friend. But she turns on him. She turns on him because he wouldn't support and endorse her for running for the Senate race in Georgia because he was a polite guy and didn't embarrass her in front of the country and the world and he said to her privately, you're down 20 points in a poll. There's no way in hell that you're going to come back from that. And she's very radical. She's like very, very radical. The things that she said over the years are radical. And again, she's pushing this ridiculous agenda. So let's go to the next slide. Sorry. I thought I had more than 2 slides. Sorry. So, I mean, again, my question to my audience is, what do you think about the relationship between Marjorie Taylor Greene and President Trump? Do you think that President Trump took it too far by calling her a traitor? Do you think that Marjorie Taylor Greene is a traitor? I can tell you, she pushed the whole thing about Jewish space lasers. She pushed this whole narrative that, we cannot support our allies. She wouldn't even go to Israel. She's completely not condemned, Tucker Carlson's comments, the Nick Fuentes, the interview between Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes. And President Trump was asked about that interview. He goes, this reporter says, President Trump, what do you think about the interview between Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes? He goes, I don't even know who Nick Fuentes is. I have no clue. I don't know. He said, but Tucker Carlson has the right to interview who he wants, freedom of the press. He's like, where am I to tell him not to interview this person? And it's up to the people to decide if they like this guy or not. But, it's insane. It's insane how one day you love a person and the next day you turn on him. And I saw this a lot. I saw this with my governor, Ron DeSantis. I told the story the other day. The story goes, my governor, Ron DeSantis, was down 20 points in the primary against Adam Putnam, who was the former department head of agriculture in Florida. Adam Putnam was supposed to be governor. That was his destiny. Pam Bondi endorsed Adam Putnam. A lot of people did. And Governor DeSantis came to Trump and said, hey, this guy, he services illegals. This guy was a congressman. He doesn't support you. He's not America first. I support you, President Trump. I support your policies. We can't have this guy as the governor. It'll be a problem. I need you to endorse me. I need you to support you. I need you to support me. And Trump says to DeSantis, this is all private conversations, by the way, we found out later. You're down 22 points. How the hell is my endorsement going to do to help you? What's it going to do? And he's like, well, this is Florida, President Trump. This is Florida. You have a home in Mar-a-Lago. You have influence. And I can beat this guy. With your endorsement, your help, I can beat him. And there's an interview coming up, or not interview, I'm sorry, debate coming up against him, he and I can take him down. I have all this information to take him down. All I need is your endorsement. So President Trump said, okay, you're a good guy, Ron. Like you in Congress. I'll endorse you. We'll see what happens. So he endorses the president. Or sorry, oh my God. Oh, my brain tonight. I got so much in my brain. I get everything reversed. Is my brain this weekend. I did so much this weekend, my brain. So President Trump endorses my governor. My governor went on to do the debate against Adam Putnam. My governor kicked Adam Putnam's ass and hit him tough, minute after minute after minute. Just hit him on facts. After that debate, my governor's polls soared. And he flipped from 20 points down to 22 points up. It's all about timing. It was about timing. So President Trump toured all over Florida. I went to some of those rallies. I was VIP with my parents to those rallies. And we saw President Trump endorsing and praising Ron DeSantis with his wife there. And now years later, fast forward, what does my governor do? With the push of his wife, by the way, because I believe and I know that his wife pushed him to do this, my governor decides to run against Donald Trump for president, which was the dumbest thing ever. So President Trump feels betrayed by my governor, calls him Ron DeSanctimonious. Because if it wasn't for President Trump, my governor would not be governor to this day. He should have stayed in his lane. He shouldn't have run for president. It was dumb. It wasn't even popular to run for president. And President Trump probably feels used by that endorsement. So it's the same thing here. President Trump, if he endorses Marjorie Taylor Greene, it could hurt her, it could help him, it could hurt him, whatnot. He was trying to do the woman a favor. Instead of her saying thank you, she took a crap on President Trump and is now going on this vengeful tour against him. She claims that he's her friend, but how can he be her friend when she's tarnishing her reputation now to the point where President Trump had to retract his endorsement for her? That's really embarrassing. She should be ashamed and embarrassed, but I guess she isn't. So again, my question to my audience, do you think that Marjorie Taylor Greene should be primaried out? Do you agree with her fighting against Donald Trump? Do you think Donald Trump took it too far? What are your thoughts? It's going to be very interesting how next year holds up if she is going to be the congresswoman of her district. And then Laura Loomer, she hinted she may move to Georgia to try to primary her out, which I know that's not going to happen because Laura Loomer's in Florida. And Laura Loomer actually has a chance, if she wants to hit one of those Democrat congressional seats that my governor is doing gerrymandering redistricting so that we're weeding out Louis Frankel, which is in Laura Loomer's district. And maybe Laura Loomer will try for Congress again. We'll see. But it's going to be very interesting, guys. I want to know your thoughts on this, your opinions on this. It's very embarrassing that President Trump had to retract his statement or his endorsement for her. She should be embarrassed. She should be ashamed. Well, coming out to the break, we have our friend, Seth Eisenberg from the Conservative Corner. We're going to talk about Obamacare. Maybe we'll get into Marjorie Taylor Greene with him. We're going to talk about what happened today in the Senate with the Epstein files. I want to hear Seth Eisenberg's perspective on everything, and he will be with us after the break. Before we leave, don't forget our second affiliate sponsor is FoliumPX.org. That's FoliumPX.org. Toxic heavy metals, full body detox. We're going into Thanksgiving. We're going to Christmas. We're going into New Year's. It's time to detox your body from all of that chicken, all that ham, all of that, I say, unkosherness. But for those of you who don't keep kosher, that's fine. For those of you who do keep kosher, as you know, kosher meat is extremely heavy, full of salt. And if you like gefilte fish, like Seth Eisenberg does, you'll be detoxing all night. So don't forget, guys, go to FoliumPX.org and get your pill. It'll help detox your body, and it's free radical support. And again, we will have Seth Eisenberg from the Conservative Corner on my show right after the break.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
This is so amazing and miraculous. We've never had a president in the history of our nation doing this. And we hope to God that he continues doing this forever and ever. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. And God bless President Trump.
And God bless you.
Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with the America's Pulse Network. I am the White House correspondent right here in the heart of D.C. as President Trump is celebrating 250 years of America and the military.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.
Well, we are back with segment 3. Thank you, everyone, for watching and listening. Radio Telefono, he says Marjorie Taylor Greene will be out of office. Well, that's his opinion and perspective, and we'll see what others think. But thank you, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe at America's Pulse Network. We're on YouTube. We're on Rumble. We are on True Social. We are on Parler. We're on TikTok and X. We're on like 6 different platforms. So please, guys, thank you for liking and subscribing, and thank you for following us and watching us throughout the night. So I'm bringing on my special guest. We all know him as Seth Eisenberg from the Conservative Corner. There he is. Woohoo!
Hey, how are you?
Good, good. I'm glad that you're on tonight with me. Thank you so much.
Glad being here. It's fun.
Awesome. So we're talking about, what happened today with finally, Congress has voted to release the Epstein files. This is something that President Trump, didn't want hanging over his presidency. And finally he said, I'm going to curse, fuck it. He's like, just release the files. I get that from you, Seth. He's like, fuck it. Right. He's like, I'm going to release the files. He's like, let's just release the files. Let's vote on it. 427-1. And then the Senate approved it unanimously. And then the president's going to sign it. What is your opinion on this? Why do you think President Trump finally said, fuck it, let's just release the files?
I think at this point, it's much ado about nothing. I mean, I don't think anybody cares. I mean, I'm sure some people care at this point, but I don't think if anybody in Congress voted to release it, that we're going to find out anything that's going to be earth shattering. I don't think there's going to be half of what we think is going to be on it. And I think, like you said, Trump's just tired of hearing about it. Like, fine, release it. Let's be done with this, because he's seen it. So obviously there's nothing on there earth shaking that he thinks is going to cause major issues, or he'd be like, no, we're not doing this. But if he's willing to do it, there must be nothing there.
Now, do you think they're going to heavily redact it and maybe, remove some names of like big Hollywood people or big names in the industry, not to humiliate those people or ruin their reputations for life?
I hope not. I mean, because if they're on that list, they're not on that list because they were given to, little Sister Mary's orphanage for blind children. They're on there because they're pieces of shit. So they let everybody know who it is. I mean, don't redact anything. And that goes for anybody who's a Republican that's on there. You don't do the crime if you can't do the time. Mm-hmm. You did something stupid, you're on that list. Well, guess what? We all should know now. It should be public knowledge.
Now, you and I are both Jewish. And as you know, Jeffrey Epstein was Jewish. Ghislaine Maxwell is Jewish. Larry Summers is Jewish. So there's a lot of Jewish people that were involved with Jeffrey Epstein. Let's say there's a lot of Jewish names on that list. Do you think that's going to hurt us, you and I as Jewish people? You think the anti-Semitism is going to be worse with more Jews on that list? Or showing that Jews are on that list?
I don't think anything's going to make it any worse. I mean, the mouth breathers are out in force. No matter what happens, they're going to find a reason to be upset. It rained today. Israel made it rain. It's going to be cold tomorrow. Those damn Jews are controlling the weather now. Yep. Someone gets fired from work. It's because of the damn Jews. No, it doesn't matter at this point. The hater's going to hate, and there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, what we need to do is just
Avon's calling.
completely be done with them. Yeah. Or pull them into the ring and go, let's just get it done, over with and done with. Let's just do this. You want to call me a kike or whatever you want to do. Let's just handle it like men. And, 2 men enter, 1 man leave. Because nothing's going to change the way the anti-Semites think. Nothing.
Now, do you think, in your opinion, because I talked about Marjorie Taylor Greene in segment 2, that she propelled a lot of the anti-Semitism, that's happening, or that happened on college campuses and stuff? I mean, she was the one that brought up the Jewish space lasers. And at first I kind of defended her. I was like, well, she's just, saying a QAnon conspiracy theory and just putting it out there. But now looking back, and I'm like, maybe she actually believed this crap. Like, she was just she really believed it. And now she's saying, I'm America first, America only. We shouldn't be helping our ally Israel. She even said she wouldn't go to Israel as a congresswoman, which is ridiculous. As a congresswoman, you're supposed to go visit your ally Israel. You're supposed to go travel to foreign nations. What's your opinion on that?
Well, didn't she say I never said that about the laser or something?
Yeah, but she did.
Context or something. You know what? Embrace who you are. Mm-hmm. A redneck from Georgia who hates Jews. She probably thinks Jews have tails too. Just embrace who you are. You're like, she's 1 generation removed from trailer park trash.
Yep.
Just embrace it. Stop trying to deny that you're an anti-Semite. I got more respect for somebody who openly admits I'm an anti-Semite and doesn't try to hide it.
Mhm.
You try to hide it. Not only are you a racist, but you're a coward racist. And I don't think she added to it, because when she was talking that kind of stuff, nobody knew who she was. She was like a nobody.
True.
I don't think she added to anything. I don't think she made it any worse. I think she did and said what she said, hoping to get more popular, hoping to get more attention thrown at her. And now that she's got it, she doesn't know what to do with it.
Now, do you agree with President Trump when he calls her a traitor?
I don't know how I'd call her a traitor. I'd call her an idiot, a backstabber, two-face, an attention whore, a low-class, low-rent piece of shit.
Hmm?
But I don't think she's traded on the country. I think she's traded on her friends, which is probably just as bad. If your friends can't trust you, I mean, what kind of person are you?
Exactly.
Yeah, so maybe not a traitor, unless he's talking about a traitor like as a friend.
I think
If he
she's
meant
saying
like
as
a
a
traitor
friend.
to the country, I don't know if I'd go that far.
I think he's saying she betrayed me as a friend because
Yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah, because it looks really bad that he, embraced her. He took her on the campaign trail with her. He endorsed her for reelection.
Yep.
And then she turns on him. This goes on The View, praises Nancy Pelosi after Nancy Pelosi removed her from her committees. Because it's crazy.
Yeah, if he's talking about it as a friend, I completely agree 100%.
Yeah, I think he's talking about it as a friend.
As 100%,
Because
I
for
agree with
him
that.
to denounce his endorsement, for him to take back his endorsement, because we've seen him do it before, is extremely embarrassing and humiliating. And she shouldn't be happy about that. She should look at herself in the mirror and be like, I think I really fucked up. Pardon my language. I mean, she curses more than I do. She actually curses more than you and I do combined. She's got a really foul mouth. And she's the one to talk about the decorum and about that we all should just get along. And there was moments on video where she's screaming at other congresswomen, she's cursing, she's doing this and doing that. But for her to do a whole 180 and say we need to have decorum, and I apologize for not being nice to my Democrat colleagues, what a kiss ass real POS. Who is this woman? Who is she?
I think she sees her career as in its twilight, and she's trying to do whatever she can to stay there. So she's going to kiss whatever ass she can kiss, hoping that it pays off with support for a reelection. That's all I can think of. I mean, and I don't, as much as I dislike Democrats and liberals, I don't think they're stupid enough to buy into her. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I think they see her for what she is. We know you just want to be reelected. We know what's going on.
Well, then it's interesting that the Democrats like Hakeem Jeffries and Jamie Raskin are saying, oh, come to our party. We'll embrace you. We'll take you in.
Yeah, those two douchebags. They make my skin crawl. Just talking about their name makes me want to go take a shower. They're just disgusting people. They're just as bad as she is on the opposite end. They're just do anything I can do to get support and stay in office.
Mm-hmm. Well, the fact that, I said in segment 1 that Jamie Raskin, he illegally worked behind the scenes to get information from Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney, and then he released it illegally, and then it wouldn't say, oh, it didn't come from me, it came from a whistleblower label. Really, dude? Really? You think we're that stupid? What a moron. What a moron. And then he's defending this woman, this Delaware congresswoman who's going to be censured soon. Because Stacey Platchett, African-American black woman, that, texted Epstein constantly, and he defends her on the congressional floor. Well, what is wrong with this asshole?
Like I said before, when we're on the polls or when I've talked with you off, I don't trust any politician. They're not worried about anything other than the next election. That's all they're concerned about. They can talk all they want to, visit all the little kids and go to all the disaster sites and go, oh my gosh, my heart breaks for them. I don't trust any of them on any side of the aisle at all. All they're in for is the next election. So nothing they do surprises me. What surprises me is that people still support them. Yep. That's what really surprises me. I mean, people will still support, Taylor Greene, even though they know she doesn't mean what she says. She's doing what she can do to get reelected, but people will support her because most people are stupid.
Correct. Damon, let's put up this slide for Seth, because I want him to comment on this. So breaking, Obamacare is so we're changing the subject. Obamacare is on the verge of being totally gutted after President Trump confirmed he's even getting support among Democrats in private conversations. Obamacare insurance policies have doubled in price relative to normal policies. Obamacare is a 100% Democrat policy. It's always been a 100% Democrat policy. All the subsidies basically went right into the pockets of insurance companies. Send it right to the people. The fastest inflation in the economy is these subsidies thrown at Obamacare insurance, kind of like if you give a lot of student loans, tuition goes up. So Obamacare, of course, was on the table with deciding whether we were going to reopen the government or not. The damn Democrats are trying to expand Obamacare, aka the AC. They won't even call it Obamacare. It has to be called the Affordability Care Act, even though everyone knows it's unaffordable. And I'm in open enrollment right now with insurance,
Right.
and some people, they can't afford real insurance. So I have to tell them to go on Marketplace or go on Obamacare, take a subsidy. I can't insure those people. I personally don't insure those people. So what is your thoughts on that? What is your comment about all that?
Well, number one, I do think that the insurance company and healthcare coverage needs to be tweaked. I think that there's not enough competition, so prices don't have to come down, so it stays high. And I know people who work really good jobs, make decent money, but can't afford good health insurance because they have a family. I think that's wrong. I'm not one of those people that think healthcare should be given to everybody regardless, because somebody has to work for it. So there has to be some payment, but I think it needs to be tweaked. I mean, I think Trump was talking about doing away with like only in-state, like you could go out of state to get health insurance and that would drive prices down. But of course that was voted down, I believe. There has to be some competition brought into it. I think, and Obamacare was a joke. I mean, they were modeling it after like Europe. Like, look at the countries there. They've been doing it that way for like decades. That's always been that way for them. So they know how to work it, know how to do it. You just can't do that in a month and then expect it to work. That's something you have to set up and then work for years and years and years and then finally get to it. But it's never going to happen overnight. And I don't think we need to do that. We just need to tweak that industry. We need to make it more competitive so prices go down and the benefits go up to attract people. I think the free market will straighten it out if we let it.
Yeah, President Trump was talking about people being more on PPOs. PPOs is going across state lines, so there's more competition that way, as opposed to an HMO, which just stays within your state, like Kaiser Permanente, CareFirst, et cetera. The issue with the HMOs is it limits you. And then, you're in Maryland and God forbid you're in Florida and you have an accident. Then you got to call your provider up in Maryland to schlep down and refax all this stuff down to this person in Florida. It's crazy.
Yes.
There's no competition there. And again, it limits you. It definitely limits you.
Yeah, I agree. And just like I said, it just needs to be tweaked. I mean, we have the best health care in the world. People come here for, to be treated. We just need to make it affordable for Americans. And that doesn't mean make it free.
Right. Or Medicare for all. Which
that sounds nice and it looks really good on paper, but it doesn't work in the real world. And if it does work, like I said, that will take years and years to get to that point where it goes without a hitch and without a flaw. It's just not going to happen. So right now, what we can do is tweak it, make it more affordable.
But it was interesting is that, the Democrats and the rhinos were pushing, to repeal and replace Obamacare. And they said they had a solution for it. And then when Trump came in the first term, Speaker Ryan, he supposedly had a bill to repeal and replace it, and he didn't. And it took up like the first 2 years of President Trump's presidency. And he didn't even want to start with healthcare first because he knew it was going to be difficult. And then, of course, John McCain came at the middle of the night and gave it a thumbs down, not to repeal or replace it. And then, John Roberts, he also gave he gave Obamacare a thumbs up. So it's just crazy. It's really crazy. And so how do we repeal and replace Obamacare? How do we fix the system?
We tweak it. I mean, like I said, let the free market take over. Stop making it so restricted to where I can go to get health insurance or I can only do this or, that, or just make it like going to Walmart. Boom, there's all the insurance. Pick what you want. And if you can do that, the insurance companies will fight for you. Like, hey, no, come over here. We're only going to charge you this and we'll give you this. But as it is right now, they don't come to you. You got to go to them. They hold all the cards. You just got to sit at their table and hope you can afford what they're playing.
But I guess my point is, should we, the people, rely on the federal government to tweak it? Or should we but should we take matters into our own hands? Or like you said, have the insurance companies fix this?
Don't trust. I mean, let the insurance companies fix it. It's like letting the fox watch the hen house. They're not going to go, oh yeah, let's take away our money. They're not going to do that. It should be the people. And the best way to do it, like I said, is let the free market control it. take away the restrictions of who can buy from where and for what, open it up, and then just let it happen. And they will regulate themselves. We're like, well, shit, Seth can go to this guy. I got to bring my rates a little bit lower and offer a little bit more. We're not going to get them. And that's what will happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the best way to fix it. It's not about making it free or letting the government run. I mean, look at the post office, for God's sakes.
I know.
We want them, the people who run that, to run healthcare? No. Let the free market do it. I think the free market is the best solution to that problem.
So let's turn to foreign policy, because you and I are very strong on that. So as you know, President Trump, he hosted the Saudi king, or the Saudi prince, the prince, damn it, Saudi prince at the White House today. And, they made a deal that they were going to boost investments to $1 trillion. And the tag is that the Saudis are going to boost investments to $1 trillion, purchasing the F-22 and F-35s. And one of the biggest takeaways of this is that we want Saudi Arabia to enter the Abraham Accords. So President Trump was trying to figure out, how are we going to get Saudi Arabia into the Abraham Accords? So that was like one of the biggest, deals today, was to have Saudi Arabia boost investments to $1 trillion, for them to invest $1 trillion into the United States. And in tandem, we were going to have them purchase our F-22s and our F-35s. What's say about that?
Maybe it's just because of me. Maybe because I was in the military. I don't know. But I don't trust anybody in the Middle East. And that's probably wrong, but that's just the way I am. And we're giving them fighter jets that are like top of the line, some of the best in the world. Really? Doesn't Saudi Arabia still behead people and cut people's hands off if they're thieves and do all sorts of barbaric crap? We need to stop treating these people like they're people. They're not people. They are vile, evil people who live in the dark ages still. And we need to stop arming them. We need to stop helping them. We need to leave them alone. What we should be doing is building up Israel, not building up everybody around them to help. Build up Israel, and then these people will come and go, look, we don't want to mess with Israel anymore. Look what they got. We need to be friends. Let's just get on this accord, and we all can get along. Because if not next year or the year after or 3 years, and sooner or later, Saudi Arabia is going to use those jets against us or against one of our allies.
Well, I think that was one of the, that was part of the negotiating table. Like, we'll give you these planes, but you can't use them to do like another 9/11, because we don't forget. We'll always remember.
And all they can do is, okay, yeah, sure, we promise. We won't do it. And then once they got them, now we can do what we want to do. We got what we wanted. It's just me. And like I said, I could be wrong. I just don't trust Middle Eastern countries. I just don't.
Well, the issue is we go back and forth, with the presidencies. Like, we know they're not going to fuck, with Trump. They're going to fuck with Trump in the White House. But then once Trump leaves, they're going to fuck with somebody else.
Exactly.
They can fuck with another Republican. They can fuck with another Democrat. In there, we don't know. So I know what President Trump is doing. He is thinking of the future. He's thinking, how can we procure the Middle East in the future so that we don't have another 9/11, so we don't have another October 7th happening in Israel, and that's what Netanyahu's trying to do as well. And I know this is something that Jared Kushner has been working on with Saudi Arabia for years. He does a lot of business dealings over there currently. And we just had Kazakhstan, who decided that they want to join in the Abraham Accords. I know Azerbaijan is another country that's looking into joining. And that was something that President Trump with Netanyahu worked on while they were both in office together,
right,
was to get as many Middle Eastern countries as possible. Because the thing is what I'm finding is that the heads of these countries, they're not so heartily the bad guys. It's the terrorist organizations that are underneath these Middle Eastern countries that are the bad guys. So what's happening now is that the bad guys of these Middle Eastern countries, they're being taken down. They're getting demolished. They're not as popular as they were under Joe Biden and Obama and so forth. And we saw that with President Trump in his first term, the lowage of the Taliban, the lowage of Aqsa Martyr Brigade, Islamic Jihad, and so forth. We're seeing that now. And we're seeing that in Iran as well. We're seeing that in Yemen with the reduction of the Houthis in Yemen. So, President Trump is dealing with the leaders, the heads of these countries that actually do support Netanyahu, that do support Israel, that don't want to have an October 7th, because they know if they F up, then they're going to have an October 7th happening in their damn country.
Right. And like I said, I hope I'm wrong. I hope everybody all of a sudden gets along and all this stuff ends. But if history's taught us everything, these terrorist organizations come up, they rise up, get crazy, and then they get smacked down.
That's why I agree with you. You have to kill them all.
Yeah, because then things will get quiet for a couple of years, and all of a sudden someone new pops up, and now you got a whole other crop of zealot, crazy people.
And there's a lot of people that agree with you and I that they should have taken them all out.
They should have never gone into a ceasefire. They should have said, "We'll stop shooting when there's no one left to shoot." Yep. That's how it should have been.
Yeah. But, you know, President Trump, he's trying to be the peacemaker, mediator, and all this. He doesn't have to be.
No,
but he's
I
like,
agree.
You know, if I don't do something, you know, it's going to be hell. And then, you know, people are going to blame Donald Trump. And Donald Trump said, I'm going to be the peacemaker. I'm going to go in there and reduce these wars and all this stuff.
Well, they're going to blame him no matter what. Like with the Jews. It doesn't matter what he does. Doesn't matter how good he is or all the stuff he accomplishes. They're going to find a reason to hate him and blame him for something.
Of course.
I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like the dude's trying to do something good. Let's put it this way: if this were Biden and Biden were doing this, I would be happy. I'd be like, great, look what he's doing. That's awesome. Even I don't like him, didn't think he was a good president, thought he was a schmuck. But if he's doing something like that, would be stopping a war, I'm all for it. Like, that's great. Good for him. You don't have to like a person to respect what he's doing. And you got to respect that Trump's in the Middle East trying to calm all that shit down. And it's working. You got to respect that. Don't have to like the man. No one says you got to like him, but you got to respect what he's accomplished in the Middle East.
Exactly. One of the main things a reporter asked President Trump when he was, I think, going to Mar-a-Lago is, you know, what do you think about the Tucker Carlson, you know, Nick Fuentes interview? You know, should they be censured? You know, what do you think? And President Trump, you know, he said, I can't control who Tucker Carlson interviews. He's like, I don't know this Nick Fuentes guy. I'm not going to tell, you know, Tucker Carlson not to interview this dude. If Tucker Carlson wants to interview him, that's fine. Let the people decide. And a lot of, you know, people were pissed off. They're like, he should have denounced Tucker Carlson. He should have denounced Nick Fuentes, blah, blah, blah. You know, but I mean, he called out Tucker Carlson, I think in like several months ago. He called him a kook. He called him a quack. So, you know, what is your position on that?
I'm all for freedom of speech. I mean, he's allowed to say, as long as it doesn't incite violence or anything like that, he can interview and talk to and say what he wants to say. Whoever that Nick Fuentes chick is, she can say whatever she wants to say. I mean, Nazis is, salute this.
It's a guy, but he's gay.
Oh, well, the beta male, the cuck that he is, he can say whatever he wants. You know, what, Stalin's my hero, Hitler was great. That's fine. Say what you want to say. The reason I love the First Amendment for things like this is because now I know who the assholes are. Mm-hmm. They can't hide anymore. They've identified themselves. They said, look at me. I'm a knuckle-dragging mouth breather. I'm an asshole. Remember me. Now I know who they are. I've never really cared for Tucker Carlson. I always found him to be a pompous, arrogant, looks like the kind of kid that got beat up in high school all the time, and now he's paying back the world for being picked on.
Right.
And again, like Donald Trump said, I didn't know who Fuentes was until I saw that. I'd never heard of him. He could walk into my house right now, and I wouldn't know who he was. But I'm glad that he opened his pie hole because now I know he's an idiot. Mm-hmm. I know exactly. And him and Tucker Carlson are idiots. Candace Owens is a fucking moron.
I'm just, you know, I'm concerned. Yeah, I'm concerned because these guys had millions of followers and stupid people are listening to them. And that's what's causing, you know, a lot of October 7th. It's causing a lot of people to hate the Jews, attack the Jews. That's why I'm a little concerned that they still have this platform. Oh, yeah. And that X allows them to have this platform and Facebook allows us to have this platform. And they do not, from what I've heard from Mr. Fuentes, he doesn't spew out freedom of speech. He spews us a lot of hate speech. You know, he calls for a lot of demise of the Jewish people. And he always calls out Jewish people. He doesn't say one positive thing about Jews. And he's very racist. He's extremely racist. Okay. He said the other day that he wants to marry a 16-year-old, that the 30-year-old men should marry 16-year-olds because it's better, you know, for society that way. And I'm just like, this is disgusting. And there was an episode where he actually put up gay porn on his podcast and showed the world. But yet they don't censor him. They don't cut him off.
They shouldn't. I mean,
it's disgusting.
Because agreed, it's disgusting. But once you start censoring stuff, it never stops.
Yeah, true.
They'll always find something else to censor, like, hey, gay porn. We're going to censor that. Oh, they're showing a video from a synagogue. We got to censor that. Oh, now they're talking about Jesus Christ. Got to censor that. It doesn't end. Anything you give the government, you never get back, and they just take more and more. So if you allow censoring to start, it always starts with the stuff we hate.
Right.
The racists, the neo-Nazis, Black Lives Matter, the Klan. It always starts with them, but it never stops until all of a sudden there's only certain books you can read and only certain TV shows and things like that. So no, I don't want them censored. Let them talk more, because eventually this fad is going to pass. This anti-Semitism crap will pass.
I hope so.
And then you'll have these three schmucks talking to four people, and that'll be the end of them. They'll dry up and blow away. It happened. Nothing is forever. Change is inevitable. Their time will come. So let them bask in the sunlight of stupidity and drink from the pool of inbred, because this is all going to change eventually. They're going to become nobodies, and they know it. So that's why they're doing everything they can right now to cash in and get as many viewers, because they know everything is finite. Everything is going to end for them at one point. Things will change. So let them run their mouths. Let the millions of followers they have touch themselves while they watch them, because they think it's great. Because at the end of the day, nobody cares about them. It's like when people say, well, the Klan's powerful. The Klan had it at its height, like 30,000 members. How many people are in the U.S.? What is 30,000 people?
Mm-hmm.
What is 1 million people? We got 300 million people in this country. It's a drop in the bucket. That's nothing. I don't care about them. And eventually, like I said, people will lose interest in them, and they'll become punchlines to a joke.
I hope so. I really do.
It will. It will. Trust me. I wouldn't lie to you. It's going to happen. I mean, even though you lie about me and say I like gefilte fish, that's horrible.
I did that on purpose because
I know. Ugh. Now I got the shivers thinking about it. It's like jars of snot with chunks in it.
Well, my last question for you is: how are you celebrating your Thanksgiving, and what should we be thankful for?
I will be stuffing my turkey hole with as much turkey as I can shove down it. Like you were saying, I'll probably have to detox after. I'm probably going to go see my father, and my go see my stepbrothers and their families for a little while. Then I'll come home, hang out with Ryan. So nothing crazy. I'm not doing anything extraordinary. I never do. I like holidays more for the fact that I can be with family. Don't have to go do anything crazy. I'm at the age now where I don't need to go to 25 different houses to say hi to everybody. I've got the people I want to see, and I go see them.
We're not campaigning.
But what am I thankful for? That's a hard question. I had a rough start to the year, and I'm really not out of the woods yet. So I'm thankful that I'm as healthy as I am now. Could have been a lot worse. Things could have been really bad.
True.
I'm thankful I've got a son that is just awesome. I mean, I'm biased. He's my son, so of course he's the best in the world. I got a daughter who's awesome. Grandkids that are great. I live in the greatest country in the world. Not the most perfect country. We're not perfect.
No.
But we are the greatest country in the world. We are as close to excellence as any country in the world can be. And I'm glad that I'm living here and nowhere and not some other place. And I've got the greatest group of friends like you and the other two, the Damon, not the old guy, the other Damon, Elena, and my friends here. I mean, I've got a good group of friends, and it's an honor to know all of you and have you in my lives. So I'm just in general thankful for being alive. I mean, like I said, things were crazy for me the first part of this year, and I am thankful that I'm here.
That's awesome. And we're thankful to have you. And don't forget, everyone, to watch Seth Eisenberg on the Conservative Corner every Sunday night from 7 to 8:30 p.m. You never know what he's going to say. You never know what guests.
Neither do I.
Yeah, I didn't even know what I was going to say tonight. But yeah, but everybody, please follow Seth Eisenberg at the Conservative Corner on Facebook, at Conservative Seth on X. He's awesome and a great addition. And again, don't forget, tomorrow night is The Pulse.
Oh, yeah.
From 8 to 9 p.m. I will be hosting. You never know what I'm going to wear. And we'll be wearing clothes, though. I'll tell you that. But Seth will be on, and we always have Elena Barbara, the base mother. Damon Gallo will be there, and we always have two special guests that are going to be joining us. We don't know who they're going to be, but please join us tomorrow night, 8 to 9 p.m. at The Pulse. It's every Wednesday night. And of course, don't forget the Jersey Shore every Monday night from 8 to 9 p.m. with Damon Galdo, as well as Friday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Follow Damon Galdo on Facebook at Damon Galdo and on X at Damon Galdo. And of course, don't forget to follow us all we're on America's Pulse Network on X, on Instagram, on Parler, on YouTube, on True Social, on TikTok. I think we're on like 6 platforms already. Like, it's incredible. You know, how many platforms we're on and how we've expanded. And we've only been up and running like less than a year. Yep. I mean, it's great, you know, how we've just kept going and expanding.
And don't forget my OnlyFans page.
Oh yeah, that's right. Don't forget Seth's OnlyFans page. And again, don't forget my show. I can't speak for Seth's show, but my show has completely endorsed 2 candidates on my show. Tim Fazenbaker running for Baltimore County Council. Woo! District 9. Let's put up Tim's website and Tim's QR code. There we go, if I can speak. So please, guys, go to timfazenbaker.com. He is running in the most America First /MAGA district in the county. He was actually at a county council meeting last night, and one of the councilmen, Itzi Patoka, wants to push legislation to not support ICE, to combat ICE in Maryland, to make sure we don't have ICE in Maryland, and that the National Guard never comes to Baltimore, even though it needs to. So this is crazy. And Tim's like, no. He's like, I support ICE. I'll always support ICE. We need ICE. Like, that's why we need to shake up in the council. We need proper people on the council that support the people of Baltimore County. So please, guys, go to timfazenbaker.com. That's TIMFAZENBAKER.com and give him a donation today. I also endorse on my show my friend Kim Stansberry, who's running for Baltimore County Executive. Please, guys, she is awesome. She'll be if elected, she's the only woman elected county executive for Baltimore County. She's awesome. Her husband was in Vietnam. He served our nation. He died of Agent Orange a few years ago. But he's a great. He was a great patriot. She's a great patriot. So please, guys, she lives in Towson, and she can say all about Towson and the horrible crime that happens in Towson, how she wants to fix it. So please, guys, go to www.electkimstansberry.org. That's electkimstansberry.org. And of course, we have our friend Seth Eisenberg, his GoFundMe page. Seth, talk about it.
I was in the hospital for like 3 months, and hospital bills are catching up with me. That's why I said things need to be tweaked. I know firsthand. It is ridiculous that being charged for aspirin, being charged for tissue, soap that you had. It's ridiculous. And it's not just me. There's a lot of people who are worse off than me after hospital bills. It's insane. It's really, it's humbling, the amount of money and how fast it racked up. It's if it weren't for friends and family and this GoFundMe, I am pretty sure I'd be living under an overpass, eating out of dumpsters right now. It was that much money. It's incredibly quick. It wasn't. And I also want to thank the VA, because I finally got to go to the VA for my final out of the 5 surgeries. I did my last surgery. And if it weren't for them, I don't know what would be going on. So Dr. Guilford at the Martinsburg VA Hospital in West Virginia is by far the most talented, compassionate, intelligent doctor I have ever dealt with. And I can't say enough good things about the VA hospital in Martinsburg, West Virginia. I am completely thank them for everything, for where I'm at right now. I have nothing but thank you to say to them. And I wish I'd gone to them before I went to the local hospital, because I don't think it'd have been that bad. But things are what they are. I had 5 surgeries. I did the last one. But yeah, it's crazy. And it's not just me. Like I said, there's thousands of other people who are deeper in debt because of hospital medical bills than I am. It's staggering. Staggering.
Well, thank God that you still have a foot, and thank God that you're alive. That's important.
Oh yeah.
But guys, we've raised over $6,400 in a very short period of time. The goal is $10,000. The final goal is $100,000. Please, guys, donate to Seth Eisenberg's GoFundMe. It's very important. Please give to a veteran instead of giving to convicted felons and freaking illegals. Mm-hmm. I mean, please give to like a real person with like who actually cares about our country and has like, you know, real things to pay for and like lives in the real world, not an illegal, not a convicted felon. Like seriously, like please don't give money to Luigi Maggione, who's like going to be dead soon. And with the guy who killed Charlie Kirk, I mean, he's going to be dead soon too. So like, don't give money to that. Like give money to Seth Eisenberg. This is crazy. But again, guys, go ahead.
And I hate talking about it. I don't like.
I know. I'm sorry.
No, it's
sorry.
okay. I don't like. It's awkward for me.
Well, we appreciate you, and we will always support you.
I know. I'm just saying that's me. I don't. When I ran for office, I could never, ever ask anybody for money, which is why I never won, because I had.
Are you really Jewish?
I know. It's weird. I can't.
That's why people hire me. That's what Tim hired me. He's like, Alexandra, get me money.
Well, if I knew you back then, I'd have hired you too.
There you go. You can hire me now if you want to run for something.
I don't want to run again.
I was just kidding. But yeah, guys, we are in campaign season, campaign mode. As I told you, I am a political consultant. I own my own political consulting firm. If you do need somebody, please contact me, levineconsulting.co. I don't just help in Maryland. I help nationwide. And, you know, we got to get the right people in office because that's what I'm all about. So please, guys, again, thank you guys for watching. You can always follow me, Alexandra Levine, on Facebook, Alexandra Levi20 on X, AR Levine 85 on Instagram, TikTok, Parler, True Social, YouTube, and all the rest. And the reason you listen, guys, and the reason you watch is you are no idiot.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
Tonight's episode of APN's Alexandra Levine Live podcast was a repeat. Alexandra will be back on December 4th with her live podcast. So please like, subscribe, and then share this episode on your social media account.